In the vast reaches of the Andromeda expanse, fear was a currency more valuable than gold. Civilizations across galaxies knew one thing for certain. When the Exilar Dominion moved, entire worlds trembled. The Exilers were merciless conquerors, 7-foot-tall beings covered in obsidian armor, their red eyes glowing like embers of destruction. They never negotiated, never spared, and their shadow meant one thing: doom. The Galactic Council, an alliance of the universe's most advanced races, was meant to be a symbol of peace and power. But as stellar fleets devoured planet after planet, the mighty council became nothing more than frightened diplomats hiding behind false hopes and empty words. No one dared to challenge the Exilers. Not the telepathic Thrillians, known for their wisdom, nor the brutal Gorthak warriors, feared for their unmatched strength. Everyone was too scared to act. Everyone except for humans. Earth was a relatively new member of the Galactic Council, young, impulsive, and underestimated by nearly every other species. Humans were considered reckless, primitive even, by those who had measured existence in millennia. But what the Council didn't understand was that humanity had something no other species possessed: stubborn courage fueled by centuries of survival, struggle, and defiance. Where others saw chaos, humans saw opportunity. Where others saw certain death, humans saw a challenge to overcome. When the Exilers set their sights on Voltora 7, a peaceful trade hub, the Council gathered in desperation. Ambassadors from 100 worlds debated strategies that all sounded like variations of the same thing: surrender, negotiate, or delay the inevitable. The tension in the room was suffocating until Captain Elena Drake of Earth's Interstellar Defense Command stood up. "We fight," she said simply, her voice cutting through the endless chatter like a blade through silk. A ripple of shock swept across the Grand Hall. A Thrillian elder, his silver eyes full of sorrow, spoke first. "Captain Drake, you don't understand the Exilers. Resistance is suicide. They are ruthless beyond comprehension." Elena's gaze was steady, unyielding. "Maybe it is, but we've faced impossible odds before. We don't back down because it's hard. We stand because no one else will." The room fell silent. There was something terrifying about how calm she was, as if death didn't scare her. The Gorthak ambassador, towering and muscular, let out a low growl. Why would humans sacrifice themselves for a world that isn't theirs? Elena crossed her arms, her voice unwavering. "Because it's the right thing to do. And maybe, just maybe, if we show the Exilers that someone is willing to stand against them, it'll remind the rest of you that fear doesn't have to be the final answer." The Council remained silent. No agreement was reached, no alliances forged. Humanity would stand alone. A week later, humanity's fleet arrived at Voltora 7. It wasn't the largest armada, nor the most technologically advanced, but what they lacked in numbers, they made up for with determination and sheer audacity. Soldiers, pilots, and engineers from Earth knew they were probably heading toward death. Yet, not a single one hesitated. They carried with them the hopes of an entire galaxy too afraid to act. Captain Drake stood on the command deck of the Resolute, humanity's flagship, overlooking the approaching Xalar fleet. The view was terrifying. Dozens of massive warships, each brimming with weapons capable of obliterating entire cities. But there was no fear in her eyes, only resolve. "All ships, hold your positions," she ordered calmly. Her voice was steady, a rock in the storm. The first Islar assault was devastating. Explosions lit the void of space as human ships were torn apart. But every time a ship fell, another surged forward to fill the gap. Humanity fought with a ferocity that left even the Exilers momentarily stunned. The humans didn't retreat, didn't break. They pushed harder. Commander Raj Patil led a daring maneuver deep within enemy lines. His squadron of fighters weaved through enemy fire with near-impossible precision, targeting weak points in the Exilar shields. The mission was reckless, nearly suicidal, but it worked. Explosions erupted in the vast darkness, destroying 2 Exilar destroyers. "We're not done yet." Patil's voice crackled through the comms. "We're just getting started." Back on the Council's observation deck, representatives from across the galaxy watched in stunned silence as the impossible unfolded. The humans were holding the line. The battle dragged on for hours that bled into days. The void of space became a graveyard of wreckage and fire. Human ships fell one after another, but every loss bought more time for the civilians of Voltura 7 to evacuate. Every sacrifice carved a message into the fabric of the galaxy. Humanity would not break. On the third day, the Exilers launched their most devastating assault yet. Entire squadrons of human ships were wiped out in seconds, but even then, humanity refused to surrender. Engineers worked tirelessly to repair damaged ships mid-battle. Pilots who had lost their squadrons rejoined the fight in whatever ships they could find. Then something unprecedented happened. The Exilers retreated. No one had ever made the Exilers retreat. The council chambers erupted into disbelief and astonishment. The Gorthak ambassador, who had once questioned humanity's recklessness, now stood in silent respect. The Thrillian elder bowed his head in deep reverence. Captain Drake, exhausted and battle-worn, addressed the council after the victory. Her uniform was torn, her face marked with the signs of battle, but her spirit remained unbroken. "We didn't fight because we were fearless," she said. "We fought because fear doesn't get to decide who we are. We fought because someone had to. Because if we didn't stand up to the Exilers, then who would?" In that moment, humanity was no longer seen as reckless or primitive. They were seen as heroes, beacons of defiance in a universe paralyzed by fear. The Council, once divided by doubt and cowardice, now looked to humanity as the symbol of true strength. And from that day forward, the Exilers learned a lesson they would never forget. Some species might fear death, but humans taught the galaxy what it meant to fight like you had nothing left to lose and everything worth protecting. Voltura 7 became a symbol of hope, a testament to humanity's courage. The galaxy began to change. Other races, once paralyzed by fear, started to believe they could resist too. Alliances formed. The Galactic Council, once weakened by hesitation, found new strength and unity. And it all began with the reckless courage of one species that refused to stand by and let darkness consume the stars.